They say motorcycle racing separates the actors from the real riders. That you can't fake the kind of fearless precision it takes to push a bike to its limit and walk away alive. But on March 14, 1973, in Studio One at NBC Burbank, 50 million people watched the King of Cool challenge Clint Eastwood to prove who was Hollywood's real action hero. Not with guns, not with scripts, but with motorcycles, speed, and guts. What happened next became the stuff of Hollywood legend. The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson was the most powerful platform in America. That Wednesday night, Steve McQueen walked out wearing a black turtleneck and jeans, aviator sunglasses pushed up into his sandy hair, carrying that iconic swagger. The audience erupted. This was Steve McQueen at the peak of his powers, the King of Cool, the highest-paid actor in Hollywood, the man who didn't just play tough guys, he was one. They talked about Papillon, his new prison escape film. They talked about racing, Sebring, Elsinore, the Baja 1000. McQueen loved discussing racing even more than his movies. Then Johnny Carson leaned forward with that look he got when he knew something the audience didn't. "So, Steve," Johnny said, "I understand we have a very special guest in the audience tonight." McQueen's eyes flickered. "Is that right? Someone who might have something to say about all this talk of you being the toughest guy in Hollywood." The camera cut to row 5, aisle seat. Clint Eastwood, 6'4", brown leather jacket, piercing blue eyes, that famous squint. The audience lost their minds. "Clint Eastwood, ladies and gentlemen, come on up here." Clint stood and made that slow, deliberate walk to the stage. The applause was deafening. He shook Johnny's hand, nodded to McQueen, and sat down. The two biggest action stars in Hollywood were now sitting 3 feet apart, while 50 million people watched. "Now, this is something," Johnny said. Steve McQueen and Clint Eastwood together. McQueen extended his hand. "Good to see you, Clint." Clint shook it. "Steve, one word." The audience laughed. To understand what happened next, you have to understand where Steve McQueen was in 1973. He wasn't just a movie star. He was a phenomenon. Papillon was about to earn him $2 million. The Towering Inferno would pay him $12 million the following year, making him the highest-paid actor in the world. But more than the money, McQueen had something most Hollywood stars didn't have. He was the real deal. He didn't just play action heroes. He lived it. In 1970, he raced the 12 hours of Sebring with a cast on his foot from a motorcycle crash and still finished second overall. That same year, he finished 8th out of 500 riders in the Elsinore Grand Prix. In 1964, he competed in the International 6 Days Trial in East Germany, representing the United States. He raced the Baja 1000, the Mint 400, and the Greenhorn Enduro, often under the alias Harvey Mushman because his studio contracts forbade him from racing. McQueen didn't race for publicity. He raced because it was who he was. The speed, the danger, the raw skill of controlling a machine at its absolute limit. That was real to him in a way Hollywood never could be. Acting just paid for his racing habit. But in 1973, something had changed. Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry had grossed $36 million, and suddenly everyone was calling Clint the new action king. The stoic cop with the .44 Magnum and the icy stare. McQueen respected the work, but it bothered him. Clint didn't race. Clint didn't risk his life every weekend. Clint just acted tough. Yet somehow people were starting to see them as equals. And that was unacceptable to Steve McQueen. Clint Eastwood was in a different place. At 43, he had just finished Magnum Force. Critics were calling him one note, saying he played the same character over and over. Clint wanted to be taken seriously as a filmmaker, but Hollywood kept casting him as the silent gunslinger who solved problems with violence. He and McQueen had never worked together, but they existed in the same space. Action heroes, box office kings. McQueen was flashy and charismatic. Clint was reserved and controlled. Two different kinds of masculinity competing for the same throne. Clint did his own stunts, but he never bragged about them. He just showed up, did the work, and went home. So when Johnny Carson surprised him by bringing him onto the stage that night, Clint expected some friendly banter. He had no idea Steve McQueen was about to challenge him in front of the entire country. Clint smiled that small Eastwood smile. "What kind of events?" "Slalom course." Figure 8 pattern. Precision braking. Identical bikes. Winner gets bragging rights. Clint thought for a moment. Then he stood up and extended his hand. March 28th. You're on. They shook hands, and the audience exploded. The next morning, every newspaper in America ran the same headline. McQueen versus Eastwood. For 2 weeks, the country talked about nothing else. Las Vegas even took bets. McQueen was the favorite because he was a professional racer. McQueen trained publicly at racetracks, letting photographers capture him weaving through cones and racing around practice courses. Clint trained privately on a ranch outside Los Angeles. No cameras, no interviews, just hours of quiet practice every morning. The competition would take place in the NBC parking lot. 3 events: a slalom through 20 cones, a figure 8 riding test, and a precision break from 50 miles per hour to a white line. On March 28th, the parking lot was packed. 500 people sat in bleachers while millions watched at home. Johnny Carson stepped forward like a boxing announcer. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most unique competition in television history. Steve McQueen entered first in full racing gear to roaring cheers. Clint Eastwood followed in jeans and a leather jacket, silent and calm. Event 1 was the slalom. McQueen went first, weaving through the cones with aggressive speed. He clipped 1 cone but finished fast. Score 9.5. Clint rode slower but perfectly clean. Score 9. McQueen led by half a point. Event 2 was the figure 8. Clint rode first this time, executing perfect symmetrical loops. Score 10. McQueen rode faster but wider. Score 9.5. The scores were tied. Everything came down to the final event. Precision braking from 50 miles per hour. McQueen went first. Tires screeched as he stopped 4 inches short of the line. Score 9. Clint rode next. Calm, smooth, controlled. He hit the brakes. The bike stopped exactly on the line. Perfect score. Clint Eastwood had just beaten Steve McQueen. The crowd erupted. McQueen stood there quietly for a moment, then walked toward Clint while every camera followed him. He extended his hand. "You're better than I thought, cowboy." Clint shook it. Then McQueen grabbed the microphone. "I've been talking trash for 2 weeks," he said. "I said Clint acts tough while I am tough. I thought I would win." He looked at Clint. But this man just beat a professional motorcycle racer after only 2 weeks of practice. The crowd applauded. That takes discipline, dedication, and guts. I was born into racing, but Clint chose this challenge. And he beat me fair and square. He turned to Clint again. "You're a better man than me, Clint, and a hell of a rider." The crowd gave them a standing ovation. Clint simply said, "Steve, you made me earn this." Later that night backstage, the 2 men shared beers in McQueen's dressing room. "You practiced every day, didn't you?" McQueen asked. "Every morning," Clint replied. McQueen laughed. "I called you out on national television. What the hell was I thinking? You thought you'd win." "Damn right I did." They clinked their bottles. To good competition. To good competition. That night changed Hollywood's idea of action stars. It showed that real strength wasn't about ego. It was about skill, respect, and humility. And for the rest of their lives, Steve McQueen and Clint Eastwood carried the memory of that night when 2 legends tested each other and walked away with something even more valuable than victory: mutual respect.